It's Hunter from Screenfeed. Today we're going to take a look at getting Power BI reports and dashboards on a screen using a Skykit player and player level authentication. There are a few things that you'll need for this project, and the first thing that you'll need is a screen. It can be a smart screen or not so smart screen, a projector, a video wall, just some way to display your digital content. The second thing that you'll need is a software or CMS. These often include players that allow for playback of content, like HTML content, for example. In this example, we will be using Skykit and Skykit Beam and Skykit players, but there are other players that would work just as well for this exact process. And the last thing that we'll need is Power BI from Screenfeed. Before we get to showing how you can get Power BI from Screenfeed, let's take a look at setting up the Skykit player. All right, I've got a Skykit box here. This is an Android-based player, and we'll just be using these 3 ports on the back. There are USB ports on the side, and a SD card, I think, for additional storage potentially. But we've got HDMI, network, and power. You don't need the network. This little thing has Wi-Fi in it as well. We're going to plug it in the network for our purposes today. So we always start with power. We got our power right here. There we go. And plugs in right there. And we've got a network cable next. Plug that right in. And then finally we've got our HDMI. Now this is plugged into the TV right there. So there we go. Once your player turns on, it may ask for wireless network information if you don't have it plugged in to a network like I did. But it will show a device pairing code once it's gotten itself up to date. Once you see that code, you can go to beam.skykit.com, log in, and click Pair Display. Here you can enter that pairing code and click Pair Display, and your display will be listed here. You can click in and make changes to, for example, the name of the player so that you can know which player is which if you have multiples. Now that we have our Skykit player set up and paired with Skykit Beam, let's take a look at getting Power BI. So first, go to screenfeed.com and choose Browse Apps. Next, type in Power BI in the search and select Power BI. There are 2 options to subscribe now or to try it out. Either will let you follow along with this video. Try it out gives you a 30-day trial, but you will need to create an account. Once you have that set up, from your account dashboard, choose Feeds or to configure your Power BI feed. From Configure Feeds, you can either search for Power BI or you can scroll all the way down to the P section. It is alphabetical. So what we're going to do is create a feed. Now, player level authentication can only happen with the HTML delivered feeds at the moment. So if you choose media RSS or direct URL, you're not going to get the utmost in security that Screenfeed has to offer. If we choose HTML, we can choose our shape. In this case, I have a landscape screen, and I can set how long I want each report or dashboard to be displayed. I think 10 seconds makes sense for me today. You can authorize with the built-in Microsoft authorization. This should be the same email and password you use for someone that can view those shared reports. They do not have to be public reports. You can put in your email and password and hit next, just like you would signing into Microsoft Online. What I'm going to do is choose Screenfeed support, which is already authorized, and I can choose my workspace. And if there's multiple workspaces, you should see them from a list here. And I'm going to select reports. You can also include dashboards. If you can see, I only have 1. If I go to reports, I have a few more. And I'm just going to add in this report usage metrics dashboard. I'll add it in twice just so you can see what it's like to have multiple reports in a feed. You can set the priority of which feed shows first, and you can even remove a feed right here by clicking that, or a report right here by clicking the X. Now we have this option to require players to authenticate. This is that player level authentication that I'm talking about. What it allows for you to do is provide a secure connection between the reports being delivered to the player themselves. Now there are a couple options here. There's device code, bright sign, which I cover in a different video, broad sign, which I cover in yet another video, and then generic. And what we're going to choose for our Skykit player is device code. This is a way for you to authenticate without needing to add in any additional scripting, but it does require either proof of play visual or you to be in front of the device to authenticate it, because it will provide either a QR code or a code that you can type in to authenticate the device. So if we scroll down further, we'll call this Skykit Power BI, and I'm going to hit create. Now it's going to give me a couple options. You can use this top URL that includes that nice animation that you may have seen at the beginning of the video, or you can choose the playlist version, which has a simplified playback. That allows for us to provide this feed to as many players as possible, us being Screenfeed. So I'm going to select this first one and copy. Now I'm going to go to beam.skykit.com, and Skykit is a CMS. They have trials that you can use. They have affordable players, and they allow for things like control of what's playing back on the screen, playlist ability, and a lot more. So this is their interface. I'm going to click content up here and add content. And from here, I'm choosing URL and web view. Now, if I select to paste in my URL, I'm going to hit create. And now it's created my content. We'll give it a second to update. It's loading. And when it does, I can select that content and rename it. So we're going to call this Skykit Power BI. And if you look, it actually has that information there that's showing this is the device code below. So we're going to go back. And now that I have that named, I'm going to hit publish again. Now what this does is takes that name and sets it for that piece of media. This makes it easier for me to play back if I'm going to add it to a playlist, or in this case, I'm just going to play it directly on the player. So I'm going to my displays. It's seeing I currently have a Power BI report playing. I'm going to click change and select Skykit Power BI. So we can see here, because the TV is right behind me, that it's showing a code that I can type in a URL or a QR code. Now, if I am not right next to the screen, but I have it network connected, let's say I have my network already in place, I want to authorize this, I can take a screenshot of the device, and from there, I can scan this QR code in the same fashion. So you see that there. All right, so here's my camera. I'm going to scan that QR code on the screen. Now you can do the same thing, like I said, from the screenshot. If you click that, you'll have to sign in on your phone, but you can see the screen is already authorized and now starting to show that report. So from the process, you've been authorized on whatever device you authorize from, and then from the screen itself, you'll see the report, the nice animation and the report come up. And once you do this, let's say using this remote process, right? You've scanned it on your phone from your computer screen. You can wait a few minutes and take another screenshot and check that proof of play and see that it's up and running. So there's two methods that you can use, either in person or you can do it here, and you can take it by following a link and copying and typing the code, or even faster is scanning that QR code so that you can be off to the races without an additional step. So that's it. It's Power BI reports and dashboards on a screen using a Skykit player and device level authentication. Now this process, this device level authentication process, can be used for web browsers. It can be used for other players. Skykit player was just the one chosen for this video. If you're interested in Skykit, it's skykit.com. They have trials and demos and a lot of good use cases on that website. And we also have more videos coming out about authentication and using Power BI on various players, as well as a calendar, Outlook calendar on a screen, and some Teams videos coming out. So stay tuned. Once again, I'm Hunter from Screenfeed, and thanks for watching.